meaning of expensive, that it takes a lot of time. If I am working in a global company like Google, they are just reducing speed by making some algorithms. So if I just redirect to any other page, so it's displaying like the whole page get reloaded after it, and then the whole HTML elements are re-rendered. But in React, it just creates a virtual DOM inside it. So it performs some algorithm and it just checks for what is changed from that particular DOM, and just uh, React just display that particular or replace that particular component in which the changes are displayed, and then just render in the real DOM. Basically mean the document object model. So whichever when you see a website, when you scroll through a website, so the thing that is appeared on the window or the Chrome browser is nothing but a document, and that each and every element representing them is contained within the DOM. So basically, React is function like it updates the element offline before inserting into the real DOM. So it have an inbuilt algo. You just you have just click the button, and then it update a particular component and just compare it with the real DOM, which is previously visible over the screen, and then compare the changes and just replace that particular component with the real DOM. So what is React Virtual DOM? So yeah, I've just explained that. Like if you can see in the real world scenario, like the traditional way. So every step we perform while redirecting or while submitting a form. So every page gets reloaded or something, we don't want to do that. So it sounds something like expensive, but React make it much easier, simpler, and very fast. So React create an in-memory data structure cache. So cache is nothing but like if you have like just displayed a particular page, and that's stored in a local memory, and that's known as cache. So we can React just take that cache and just compare it with the real DOM, and then create a resulted differences and then update the browser accordingly. Yeah. So, what are the benefits of the virtual DOM? So basically, there are main two benefits: making the code clean and clear, having some descriptive programming models, and then having a fast, optimized DOM update. So as soon as you click on any button and you just wanted to display something else, just it will create on uh, just within some milliseconds. It neither take any time. Yeah, so creating a component, as you have seen earlier, it is same as just react dot create class, and then it will create a class, and we will be returning a function. If you didn't see this, this is like ugly. If any noob want to see and wanted to start programming in React, so if he see this concept or the code written over here, so he will be like, oh, what the like what is written here? So just ignoring that, uh, we have a lot much simpler version of that. I will be displaying that. So after that, if you can see here, a render. So basically, render nothing but what we want to render or what we want to execute on the particular mainframe or the thing on the browser that we want to display. So basically, component rendering is nothing but we just want to display a particular component, or we can say a particular JSX element on the bin. So value of the render method is basically not returned in the main DOM module. So it's just the render method compare the whole DOM module with the previous stored cache data, and then it compared all the changes, and then just see where the changes have been done, and then push all the code there. So it just it will be like on the tip of the hand to update any DOM structure or any component. So how the data is flowing from the parent to child? So like if I am update, there are many components. So if you can see, there is on the Facebook. So if you can see, there are a lot of, like, we have a news feed section, and then we have a navigation bar, and then we have some feed section, and in between the feed section, if you compare a feed with the parent component, and then you can see in the parent component we have number of child elements. For example, we have a picture child element, and then we have a like button, comment button, and share button. So basically, a parent container is holding that all the components, and then on the parent container there are made some changes, and how it is flowed through the child part. So it is done by props. Props is nothing but the properties. So properties are basically immutable. Immutable means we can't change the properties or the uh, data given to the components through properties. We can't change it. So if you can see here, like, you can compare it with an attribute in a normal HTML syntax. So if you have created any division, and then you have written a space and then a class, defining a class with given a particular name of a class, like as a concept of CSS. So I have made a class in CSS, and then I've, like, ABC. So I have created a division in HTML. Then I've defined a class, given a class name as ABC. So basically, you can compare in React. So instead of having attributes, we have props. Props is nothing but properties of it, property of a single component, and which can't be changed. Like if you can see in normal HTML, it can be changed by GS, but properties can't be changed as such in the like by the child component. So we have to change. There are different ways over which we can change the properties by re-rendering the render function. Like by executing or rerunning the render function, you can change the properties, but as such, by clicking on a button, or if you want to just simple change the value of the props, so we can't change it. So it's immutability. And then if you can see in the child, so we have passed, if you can see the header component. So basically, by creating a component, we just have to write the syntax is basically the as same as the normal HTML format. So we have created a component. If you can see here in the child, we have created a component named header, and then we have just imported in the parent component that home page. If you can see on the first line, and then we have just rendered that particular header component in this and pass the title. So title is the properties, and then which is flowed to the child component, and then it is displayed on the child component. So where we want to display the thing, and that in the curly braces. So this dot props dot title. Don't go on the sentence. I'm just explaining the workflow of the React. So I will be having a hands-on session. So I will be displaying so how the props will be working, how the React components are rendered, and all. So yeah, so if I want to change some data from child to component, you have just seen the example of from parent to child. And if you want to have some changes from child to parent, so we have to define a particular function, and then that function is just rendered over the DOM component, and then it just basically updates the DOM or the parent component from where we want to just change the value of the props. You can basically say. So yeah, here we have defined a particular props, and we have defined a particular function, and then we have written over here input with an attribute of type search, and then we have added an event listener. Like on change, we want to call this function. This is basically a representation of a function that's displayed here. So the name of the function is keychain, and then going over the keychain function, and then we can see that there are like this dot prop dot search handler. So we have defined a function in the properties. So if you can see in the search bar, so we have defined a props as search handler, and which is equal to the function. The function is over there. We have defined on the while creating a particular class over here that I have marked. So going to the state object, basically state is as same as the prop, but the main difference is state whenever we change the value of the state, so the whole component re-render. So basically, if you go to the Facebook again, so you can see if you have clicked on like, so as soon as you have clicked on a like button, and then it updates the DOM and just update the parent component. As such, like initially their number of likes are 10, and as soon as you have clicked the like button, and then it uh, trigger a function which update the parent component in that and just add one to the like. So initially it was 10, and then adding one to it, it will become 11 and update. The DOM is read under and the function is run again, and then the DOM is updated. So we will be displaying the 11 instead of 10. So yeah, like as such an state object and a prop object. So basically, the main difference between the state and the props are nothing but like props are immutable. We can't change it, but states are mutable. We can change it. As state. If you like go on a function, we define a constructor from where we just add some particular initial name that we want to display over here. Like at the time of like if you go in the real world scenario, like on the page load, we want to display some data unless and until some data is uh, like we have a response through from the server. So we just hit an API. API is nothing but a simple request and response case where a browser requests to the server to have some particular data, and the server is giving response to it. So basically, at the time of rendering a page, so we display a particular like data that we want to display at the initial state, initial time. So that data is displayed, and at the time of fetching from the data from the server, and that we can just update the state, and that changes would be gonna display on the child component or the component from where we want to display all the data. So like initially setting up the state is same as like returning a simple object, but on changing a state, so we have a special function known as set state. So I'm gonna display the whole scenario that how will be state working in the hands-on session. So yeah, so this set state just update the particular state of the component, and then read and enter all the return function, and then displaying all the change data over there. So yeah, let's go on a hands-on session. So initially, to get started in React, so you have to just write like deleting this console. Then I've initially created a React element. I've created a template basically. So you can all like replicate this template by just writing npx space create hyphen react hyphen app npx create react app with this, and after that we have to give a particular that folder name or the app name that we want to create. So basically I okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Could you see my screen now? Hello Shivai.
Yes, it is
Okay,
visible.
okay, great, thanks Deepak. So going to the VS Code again. So over here, like deleting the previous terminal, and then we have to just uh, start a particular terminal over any of the folder. So you have to just start a terminal by clicking on Control and backtick in VS Code. Basically, you can use any editor, and you have to just open a command prompt over there, and then writing npx. Over there, you can see a bunch of folders and files, and that's the basic template of what a React app would be looking like. So basically, I've already created a template, but ignoring that, you can just write to replicate this template. You have to just write npx space create hyphen react hyphen app with an app name. So basically, npx uh, defining a particular app name which is unique within a particular folder. So I've written an introduction to React. So just write intro to React, and after hitting an enter, it will take a couple of minutes to replicate this template, and it will be would be visible on your local PC. So basically, I have created this previously. So to reduce the time, so you can see here there are bunch of folders and files. So let me zoom in. Yeah. So initially, I've created a folder introduction to React, and what's the like the components of that? So basically, we have the node modules. Neglecting that, it will be including basically all the libraries and the functions that you will be like rerunning in the main component section. Maintaining all that in a particular non-module folder, and then we have a public folder. So if you can see here the files, so basically there is a favorite icon that we have want to add on the title bar, and then we have an index.html file. This is the main file. So where all the like your HTML or all the JSS component or the React component would be visible over here. So I will be showing that where it would be visible. So basically, we have a couple of files more for the logo, and then a manifest.json. So it is basically all the like description of the app that we want to show in the SEO session. So while we are searching on the Google, then all the app, all the description would be taken from here. And this is the robot.txt file again for the SEO part. If you want to allow any user to see your particular page, or disallow our user to see that if you want to have some private routes. So basically, it's for that. So going over the source part, so it will be main where you will be. It's a work environment. So basically, where you will be creating all your components, and which you will be rendering on the main HTML file. So going over the HTML file, and then seeing the first file as the index.js. So basically, if you can see here, we have a bunch of libraries that we have already imported in it. So deleting all this, we will be like requiring that particular two modules, and then deleting all the other files. Yeah, if you want to delete all the files listed over here, then you can just like delete it. It's not required. So like I will be working on index.js file. So you can delete any other file over here. So if you can see, like you have to initially it is imported in that in the React. So basically you have to import React from the React module. So basically it is the name of the component, the React, and React is the name of the module or the library which is installed in the node module folder. So same as in the case of React DOM, So I'm defining a new folder name as component, and then I will be declaring a particular component. So let's suppose I have written a simple button. So you can either write button.js, that's for simple JavaScript extension, or in JSX you have a particular extension which is JSX. This is a special syntax for React only. So basically it defined a like it will give a large and unique workspace for you to like play around with the JSX elements. So just again you have to import the React module from React, and then you have to create a class over it. So neglecting that previous old syntax that I have shown in the previous PPT. So you will find this PPT same as the concept of a simple class that you have learned till now. So I've defined a simple class, and then with a class name of button, and remember this that each button or each the class name starts with a capital letter, and the class name would be a full class name. If I want to add a button one, button like button one, so it will be like in the camel case. So after each word I will be representing the particular every element of the first word would be capital without any space. So like button, and which would be uh, extend a particular React component. So it's nothing but component. So I will be extending that particular button to component. So it has some predefined function that we can use it directly into the React this class. So defining that, so it's a basic representation of a component that we are going to show on the particular DOM. So after declaration of the particular class, so I have to export that class from this module, and so that I can directly import it to the other module. So I will be defining like export default and then button. So now I've exported that particular button from this module, and then I can just like import this particular module from button from, and defining the path of that from dot slash representing the current folder, and then the component folder. In that we have a button uh, file. From where we are importing that particular button component. So replacing that particular H1 element to the button. So I have like defined that each of the component that we create has been represented by a particular old JavaScript simple HTML concept or the syntax. So I will be writing this like in the angle bracket. I will be writing a button. So if you can see that there is an error. So either I have to end that particular GSS element by this, like the old syntax. But if you can see over here, so it is like the number of words over here is like large. So reducing our effort. So I will be deleting this and just entering a slash in front of it. So if you compared it to the HTML syntax, so you have surely used the BR tag. So it does not have a closing tag in it. So in the HTML, either you just write a BR, and or you write a BR with a slash, representing it is a single element or a single tag. So similar here, we have to close it. We have to close each and every component in it. You just can't just define a button with a like open syntax. So you have to close it either with a space or without a space. It does not matter. So defining a button component over here, and then going to the button, and like if you can see over here, instance instance dot render is not a function. So we are not you can see that it the component class have a render method over here. So we have to render something over the DOM. So we will be declaring a render function over here, and we will be passing some particular props. So Like you can say that you have to return some GSX value. So I have just defined a particular render function and I want to return some particular values. So I will be writing that h1 with hello. So it will be displayed over here. If you can see in the element part, so in the again in the division ID with the ID root, it will be displaying a h1 tag. So basically, we have in this component, we have just returned this particular h1 component, which is displayed in this particular root element. So now, like if I see here, if I want to add some more like h1 tags, so like I have initially I have written h1 with the hello, and again I've written h2 with the hey. So basically, it is giving an error. So comparing it with the previous syntax, if you have like the thing I've said, so basically when converting this particular JSX element into the React function, so we write React dot create element. So this JSX is basically converted into this particular function. So there h1 is passed into this, and then hello is passed into the child component, and then repeating it over and again. If you can see over here, so basically a return function is returning a particular two parameter. So basically while converting into it, we if we compare it in this syntax, so basically we have to pass three props. So first prop is what type of element is we want to display over here. So it is displaying that h1 tag. So, but consecutively, we want to show S2 tag. The declaration is like uh, nothing. But it's declaration of a particular component. So, so to use this, we will be this particular element in division. Just introduce the division to a particular outcome. So basically, division to S1 tag converted into similar element, and then will be division of so and we will be passing a value and the initial none, and then the third and this would be an object. So which will in this you will be on the action again we will be writing a like action in create or create and so converting the song actually writing all. So now it is based on the and if you see in the element, so we will be having a division which is consisting to elements. So the h1 and h2, and then going over there, we have h1 and h2 representing the hello and he. So now creating so passing basically how the process work, how states are. So I will display like like